What does don't change much mean to you?
It's something that Brian and I say to each other all the time. It's the little things, right? It's the habits of well-being. What does that mean to you? Does it mean putting your 1 hour dog walk in Pacific Spirit Park so solidly in your calendar that it's immovable for the most part in life? Rain, shine, people, busy, work, job. You actually put your work around the thing that makes you feel better. That's that one small movement. It's the taking that breath and getting yourself the support you might need. Just that little bit, reaching out just enough. Don't change much, but just allow the pivot.
Get the ball rolling.
Just a little shift in plowing straight ahead that's taking you down the road where you're feeling unwell, whether it's mentally unwell or physically unwell. Continuing to plow straight forward won't help. But if you just deviate ever so slightly, the echo can be fantastic.
My name is Dan Murphy, and I'd like to thank you for listening to the Don't Change Much podcast, brought to you by the Canadian Men's Health Foundation. Now, this is a podcast that deals with men's health and wellness. We dive into topics that we hope help men physically, mentally, emotionally. But that doesn't mean women aren't part of the conversation too. After all, every one of us is impacted by women in our lives: wives, mothers, sisters, and friends. Women that care about us. So let's bring Jody Vance into the conversation. The veteran broadcaster is an advocate for men's health. Her passion for it stems from her relationship with her father and trying to help him through a prostate cancer diagnosis and later Alzheimer's. Experiences that led her to become a national champion for the Canadian Men's Health Foundation. What do you think helped him in his recovery process, aside from ultimately realizing that, he should have checked this earlier, now he's on the road? When he was going through this, what helped him?
I think what helped him most was a realization that he couldn't just dictate outwardly to keep his life going. As a coach, he was very good at directing others. Many of us are good at telling others what to do and then not reading our own mantras back to oneself in the mirror. I think he had a big mirror held up to his face. He acknowledged his weaknesses and how his weaknesses could definitely help others. And in living in a more aware way, my dad wasn't great at nourishing himself. He was kind of a natural specimen. So if he just, if there was apple juice was on sale, all of a sudden his entire refrigerator was apple juice. He was really funny about that. He's like, chunky soup's on special. I bought 3 cases. I'm like, John, it's great, but not
every meal.
It's not every meal, buddy. You're going to need a salad in there. So I think he did really take an active role in nourishing himself in a better way, because he was, honestly, Dan, he was taking advice from his daughter for the first time in his life, and he was in his 70s.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like being diagnosed yourself. You don't want to find out if there's bad news for family members.
Exactly. And then Dad went to stay with his brother, my Uncle Don, who probably will listen to this. Prostate cancer survivor, by the way, as well. Don and Joy, my Uncle Don and Joy, had Dad for 48 hours, came down for Christmas and Boxing Day, whatever. And after 48 hours with them, I got a phone call. Something's up with your dad. You think? Right? And that was the beginning of our journey, because then the entire family got on board. We got him the SAGE test. We got him involved with Dr. Philip Lee up at UBC, at the Brain Center up at UBC, who are amazing, cutting edge Alzheimer's researchers. And you know what? The interesting piece of this is once everybody knew, Dad stopped trying to hide it. And he blossomed in a way, like he came back to us, because all of the work he was doing to try and hide that he was unwell, all of a sudden I looked at him, I'm like, Dad, everybody knows, and we all love you. And he was like, great. What should we have for lunch? Like, you could see his shoulders just lift. And then I just carried on that journey with him to the end.
Now, Jody, there are some folks out there who don't have the strong family support structure, maybe don't have the friends they feel they can confide in, which is another conversation. But there are resources out there for someone who might be trying to tackle these things alone.
Well, and that's why I'm here. The Canadian Men's Health Foundation has those easy consumable resources, right? It's a one-click environment built for men. And that's why I'm so proud to be a woman that's being welcomed into the space, because it's a resource for women who are looking for how to communicate with men as well. So if you go to the website, ladies can do this too, but guys, if you're struggling, you're going to see some familiar faces here, a gathering of greatness, if I may, with the champions that are already on this roster. And all of them have a tip, a story, an opportunity to talk. And the podcasts are really such an incredible resource, honestly.
Thank you for listening. And a big thanks to everyone who already follows. If you haven't yet, click the follow button on your podcast app so you don't miss upcoming episodes and special guests. Join us every month for a new installment of the Don't Change Much podcast. And if you're new to the show, be sure to check out previous episodes with guests including John Herdman, Kelly Rudy, Trevor Linden, and more. For more helpful tips on improving your mental and physical health, visit menshealthfoundation.ca and don'tchangemuch.ca.